Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy Shades. Stock market show is still here, and we're still pumping and we're still dumping. But we do have some news here with regards to. We're not looking at Ilus today. There's not much to look at. Ilus, I do believe it's going to come down to 002s, but we do have some updates from H2O and its acquisition of QIND. So let's go to that PR here. But H2O came down as low as 30 cents. That's where I bought, went 100%, took my profit. Right now, we'll see what happens with it moving forward. The most important thing is what's their PR strategy going to be like? And is this stock going to be compliant with the Nasdaq, or is it going to get beat down, or what's going to happen here? See, we finally got an uplist. Now the question becomes, can it start behaving like a good boy? You know what I'm saying? Like a good boy stock. Can it start climbing higher over the long term? We don't want it to behave like Mullen, where it just keeps getting beat down. We also don't want the stock to just go sideways and just be a pumpy dumpy stock, right? I'm talking about longs. If I was a long, I'm going to pretend to be a long right now. If I was a long, I'd be concerned. Like, wait, why did you uplist to a low float? And why is it not NASDAQ compliant? And why is it behaving like a pumpy dumpy stock now? And is this going to hold a bottom? What kind of behavior, PR strategies? Like, what's in store for H2O? Because Sybil right now, it's getting incredible revenues and all that. It's got a lot going on for it. But you look at the share price today, and a lot of people are upset because they thought like, oh my God, Q&A, we're gonna go to the moon. But that's, if it's gonna behave like a pumpy dumpy stock, it's gonna be a pumpy dumpy stock. And I just learned this, just to be clear, I just learned recently that just because a stock uplifts doesn't mean it's just going to start climbing like Palantir or Nvidia or Microsoft, like going higher over the long term like SPY. It could Ilus could very well uplist and just end up being a pumpy stock anyways. Like, it could end up doing nothing. It could just go sideways and no one cares about it, and it just kind of sits around and does a whole lot of nothing. For comparison, the reason I say this is because we know Mullen already. We know they like to dump and it reverse splits to stay on a higher exchange. But Tilray stock, perfect example of a stock that, hey, no one really cares to hold this long term. It doesn't really go higher over the long term, but it held a bottom here for like over a year. And it's very pumpy and dumpy, as you can see very clearly. Had lots of runs like Ilus did and AITX did. More so, better comparison to AITX than Ilus. But either way, eventually it broke down its support and now it's going down lower, right? So like, that's not what you want. That's not what you want. Longs don't make money. If I was a long, I'd be concerned, because it's like, I don't want that. I want this to appreciate in value over the long term. And when that's not reflected in the chart, despite the company's growth, well, I'd be, like I said, I'd be very concerned about my position. So that's just something to think about moving forward. See, we got the uplist done. Now we got another, we got other threats to worry about. So H2O, here's the PR. In conclusion, this is a presentation from H2OO, so let's go over it real quick. Fusion Fuel Control is a profitable entity with strong cash flow, sustainable growth, and strategic value chain positioning, strong revenue outlook with profits in 2025, and a solid growth trajectory for the future in high demand sectors. Well, let me tell you this. Drones are high demand, and Sybil's in the Department of Defense, and the share price is at 005. So it's tanking right now. So it's just, I've seen companies say stuff like this. Oh, strong revenue outlook, great growth trajectory, high demand sectors, market expansion. Like, I've seen these keywords already before, and it's just, it doesn't mean anything. They have to follow through, and I look forward to their PR strategy. What's the PR strategy? Because communication is going to be king, especially in, well, it's not in the OTC, right? So I can't say it's in the OTC, but especially now, it's going to be important, because if they don't communicate, guess what? It's just gonna come right back down to 30 cents. Whether it holds 30 cents or not, that's a whole nother question. I mean, we've seen already by looking at the past. Wow, how long has this been around? Let me look. Oh, did it actually used to be at $48, or was that a reverse split? I don't know the history of this one, but you notice it's kind of like I hate to say it, but did they just uplist to a stock that behaves like Ilus? in 2021 hit a high of $48, and then yeah, it's been dumping since then. That's it looks like Ilus. You know what I'm saying? Like Ilus went to 50 cents in 2021, and look where it's at now. So, again, I as a long, I would be concerned about this stuff. And I'm never gonna doubt Ilus in terms of their ability to get things done. I almost swore there. Can't swear because the AI will be like, oh, gonna give you less profitable ads. But anyways, we're smart enough to know at this point, stock uplisting, they got it done. I'm not gonna doubt Ilus anymore. Clearly, they do a lot behind the scenes. I go in on them because they don't really communicate, and that just it's hard to hold the bottom somewhere. If they continue that with their subsidiaries, I mean, it's it's not a good look, especially because they do plan on uplisting Samuel and what's the other one, and Ilus itself. So it's going to be interesting to see how they put everything together like a puzzle piece and see what comes of it. But there's still like a lot of threats, right? Threats to longs for swing traders like me, it's not a threat because I can just take the loss, move on. The only threat is the stock just not holding a bottom. That will always be like the biggest threat for someone like me that's looking for the big bottom, right? Well established operation. So yeah, I'm just trying to give you like a look from my swing trader point of view, but also I'm trying to pretend like I'm a long, like I should be concerned about all this stuff that I mentioned. Let's see. Evaluating acquisition targets to expand into the U.S. market, enhance operations in Europe and the Middle East. Okay, but we'll see. They have to really bring it. And I think they did talk about. I think they're Nasdaq compliant. I know you. Shout out to How can I forget? I hate when I forget people's name. I hate it. I hate it. Just my channel's getting bigger and bigger, and I get more and more comments now. STL words, yeah. Shout out to STL words. I was gonna call you guy with the hat, but I'm like, no, that's let's use his real username. STL words. I think his name is Edwards. Maybe I might be wrong, but STL words. Shout out to him. I wasn't even paying attention. I was over here on top of Sybil. But Nasdaq compliance. If this thread is removed, and we don't have to worry about it getting delisted, then that's one less thing to worry about as a long. Because again, as a long, if I'm pretending to be a long, I don't want this getting beat down to OTC land, right? So let's see what happened here. Background: in May 2024, Nasdaq notified H2O of non-compliance with the minimum 10 million stockholders' equity requirement. Their compliance plan: management submitted a plan to regain compliance. The applicable minimum stockholders' equity requirement is 2.5 million for companies listed on the Nasdaq Capital Market. They have a scheduled hearing for January 7, 2025. So that's coming up actually in less than a month. Nasdaq issued a delisting determination due to insufficient evidence of compliance. Oh, okay, this is interesting. H2O believes the stockholder, STL word, you were right. H2O believes the stockholders' equity exceeds the 5 million stockholders' equity threshold for transferring its shares to the Nasdaq Capital Market following the acquisition of 69. Someone's going to make a joke somewhere. 69% of QIND. The pro forma financial data has been prepared using financial information as of September 30, 2024. So what, 12 million? Is that what they're pointing out? Stockholders' equity. What's the minimum? 10 million? So they should be fine then on that side. And it is a low float. Look at that, 22 million shares. I almost said billion, but I'm like, no, that's not 100 billion. That would be insane. No, that's 100 million. So yeah, I was wrong. Look, I actually mean it this time. All the other times was just clickbait. No, I was wrong. Ilus is doing a lot behind the scenes. Now we have to move forward and look at what all the other threats that are to come. Uplisting does not equal, stock goes up to the moon. And we all know that. The smarter ones, like me and Wards, we know that. But there's the ones that don't. They think, uplist, oh my God, it's going to go to $137. It's going to behave like NVIDIA. It's going to, it's going to be down here at, I can't even show it. Okay, it's going to be down here at 76 cents, and then one day it's going to go to $152. Woo, 100 million% gains. Like, pat yourself on the back. People who are as smart as Edwards or STL Words or whatever his real name is. Like, that guy's smart. Like, that guy sometimes says things that I'm like, you know what? I agree with him. I agree. I'm not one of those YouTubers that's going to look at you in the face and go, no, I'm not wrong. You're wrong. I'm just going to pretend to be ignorant because I want to be right so bad. Like, no, I'm not like that. I'll admit when I'm wrong, and I'm wrong. So shout out to Ilus. They've been doing a lot, and I doubted them. For the time being, let's hope it comes down to nice and cheap down here, and I'll continue to do what I do here on the channel, which is swing trade. Long, I would never become a long until I see this performing, whether it's Sybil, AITX, or Ilus, or any other stock. Until I see them performing like, say, Palantir, until they start following the likes of the SPY, where they just go up over the long term, then, I'm just not interested in it. This is what you want to see when they get on the higher exchange. This type of movement. Where there's dips, you buy the dip and it just keeps going higher, and it's just so hard to lose. It's so hard and so difficult to lose money when it behaves like this. When it does the opposite, as you can tell, it's very difficult to make money when it does the opposite. So, let's hope for the best. 2025, I'm going to take this shot right here of Rumble Mints. I don't have my camera on. I'm not going to turn it on. So, cheers, guys. That's it for the video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I will see you in the next one.